Hope everybody is doing fine. And I just to make a video, want to share with you a video, and that this video basically just give an very basic understanding of the report and format, because I'm often receiving the some doubts, and the doubt is common for all. So if I just give you a video, probably it will be satisfies the individual requirements. Okay, as you know that this is the title page, and you just fill the data, whatever the main details. For example, the title size is already mentioned, so when you type exactly, if you replace the title by the your project title, automatically the size will be adjusted. And you can also feed the information like the student one. Instead of student one, you can give the ID number and the name, and the other details as well. Okay, now the dedication, the section called dedication, acknowledgement, abstract, the table of contents. Okay, these sections no need to touch at this stage actually, because you are going to continue the project during next semester as well. So these things can be filled during the next semester actually. All right, so there is no need to worry about these particular sections. What is most important one is the chapters. So already we have mentioned in the meeting that we are expecting from you 4 chapters, right? Introduction chapter, chapter 2 which is the background and literature, and chapter 3 is the design specification constraints and the applicable standards, and the 4th chapter is the methodology chapter. Okay, now let us go through chapter by chapter and see what is supposed to be included in each of these chapters. And again, the list of figures, list of table, etc., you will be preparing it during the next semester. Okay, in chapter 1, basically the title of the chapter 1 or the heading of the chapter 1 is introduction. So what is supposed to cover here? There must be some focus here. So first thing is what is your research area? So you must clearly mention that what is your research area, or what is the problem you're trying to solve. That's number one. And what is the motivation behind this particular research study? Because anyway, you're going to do a particular research, and what is the motivation behind. And number 3, that how this particular how this particular research is going to impact. For example, the research outcomes are going to influence the society or the community or the technology, etc. Okay, so this is something very important. Now background means, so under this chapter, so the first you can just give this 3 important things like a short paragraph, then you can talk about background. Background means what? You have to give adequate information for the reader to understand what is the topic. So if it is something, for example, if it's related to some developing some medical products, okay, let's say if you are focusing on, let's say, a blood pressure monitor, okay, so just give them some basic knowledge related to what you call the heart mechanism, and how the blood flow mechanism, like the blood pressure, etc. Very 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 short and brief, but it will give you an overall idea for the to the reader. And the reader, maybe that this type of information is very important for the reader to get a better idea about the other chapters. Okay, or this information or this chapter will help them to understand the other chapters, like chapter 2, chapter 3, etc., much more easy without having any difficulty. All right, now the problem statement. Okay, so here you're supposed to write the problem statement. So problem statement, normally we present it is like a research question or maybe a hypothesis. What is hypothesis means? So hypothesis is basically a supposition, but in our case we are not going to try with the hypothesis. Normally we have a research question, and the research question is you can define. I think already done that part. So that is the second one point to this, the second part of this second section of the introduction. Then we have the project objectives. As you know that what is basically objective. So the objective is supposed to be very specific, in the sense what can be measurable. So for example, you can say that the objective of this project is to design, or is to devise, or maybe to establish, or to test, or to experiment it, or to identify, etc. So these are so that it must be very specific. And then you are talking about the general objective and specific objective. So here general objective is basically, what you mean by general objective here is an objective that is that overall project objective actually. Okay, I mean, if you have a project, so you can just mention one particular definition, one statement, the whole statement, or the one paragraph, that paragraph talking about general objective. Now what are the specific things that can be achieved in order to get the general objective? That is called the specific objective. In other words, if I'm going to say that if I have a general objective, I can split the general objective into what you call sub objectives. and these objects are very specific, and if you satisfy this specific objective, eventually or that is directly related to the general objective. So basically general objectives and specific objectives, they are connected in such a way that all the specific objective is part of the general objective. Okay, so you can say like a like a subset and superset. Okay, so I hope this section is clear. Now talking about background and literature, we have had done enough discussions on background and literature. So you must know what others has already done on this particular topic. Okay, so you have to start with your problem statement, and you'll see what are the different the what you call the research work that done by the other people actually. Okay, so you have a problem and you want to solve the problem, and what other people already done on this specific topic. Okay, then by doing so, what you're going to know that like you will try to identify some kind of gap or research gap. The research gap would be like what what they missed to do, or they were unable to do actually, and that you have to find out. This is the second part, which is the literature research. So what is the best practice for this? You can probably collect the recent for example 5 years. Okay, for example last 5 years research papers. Okay, research papers from top what you call journals or publishing agencies. Okay, example like Elsevier, for example. You can look for IEEE. Okay, Tylers and Francis. Okay, and what you call this same MDPI, and this type of journals you can search. Okay, but the advantage of the open access journals, it is easy. You can directly download without making any payment. But if it is going for the subscription type of journals, then definitely you must have some kind of institution membership, or you need to pay some extra money for downloading. Okay, so we always prefer to go for some open access data, open access journals, there are plenty of open access journals are available. These a few of them I already explained, so you will find them. So the best option is that you can just go through the browse through the Google Scholar. So just go to the Google Scholar page, and then if you type with whatever filters, if you want, for example you are interested in a particular topic, let's say like a blood pressure monitor, design of blood pressure monitor, then you can add the filters, for example plus 2022 to 2024. So this will give you all the papers in this particular range. You can talk about like Elsevier journal, so you can talk about IEEE journals. All these filters you can add. Okay, so you will get a like a very filtered search results, and then based on the search results you open the file, or download the research documents. Then you make a review, and based on the review you are going to write maybe a paragraph about that particular article. Okay, what is the basic idea, what they have done, and what were their results, and what are their main shortcomings, or main issues, or the areas they need further to work on, like a future work. So this will help you to identify the research gap. And when you do last 5 years, you can see the progression. Okay, so better start with the for example in the 5 years, start with, for example the old paper, then next paper, and so on. So you can see that what are the the transformations happen to the what you call the particular topic. Okay, so this is the basic idea behind the literature review. Then finally, based on the literature review, you have to put your own comment, like what exactly all this research findings indicate, what is the directions, what is the scope, and what are the things it's supposed to be to be addressed. Okay, that is supposed to be your like research, your research direction. Okay, so this is the idea behind background. So as I have mentioned you can talk about, include, let's say maybe last 5 years papers, a fair research literature research may include maybe 5 to like 7 or maybe 5 to 10 articles. Okay, and just summarize each article. You can make a short paragraph. Then you have to have your own like a conclusion about what this particular literature research is about, and what are the directions actually. Okay, now chapter number 3, these are the design specifications and constraints. Every design, whether it is software project or hardware project, the specifications are very important. Okay, so there must be specifications, and specifications are nothing but these are the functionalities, the characteristics, the performance criteria expected from the final product design. So whatever you think that the characteristics of the design, or maybe functionalities, or can be performance criteria, etc., can be considered as specifications. And at the same time, there are also some limitations, or there are some what you call the restrictions. And okay, these restrictions or the limitations normally affecting the total design of the project. So these are basically called constraints. So since we are working in a university, the major constraints are time is one of the constraint, and we have the budget, this is another constraint. And of course, if you are going for some sophisticated devices, like some specific special purpose ICs, circuits and so on, circuit components, probably it will be hard. So these are the main constraints. So but design specifications, you can just go through your the project objective, and based on that you can make your own specifications here. Okay, now the third important point is the applicable industry standards, so which are basically all the the main products. Okay, definitely they have to satisfy the some certain requirements. Okay, maybe can be a local standard, or can be regional standard, maybe international standard. But of course, since the biomedical industry, normally we apply some international standards. So there are different international standards are already in use. Okay, and the point is that it is it is I have already listed several standards here. Okay, so please make sure, please understand that these all the standards are may not be applicable to your project actually. Okay, some of the standards are very relevant, and some of them are very like you just to mention, you can add. So just to go through these standards, okay, one by one, and see that whether they are applicable to you or not. If it is applicable, you can just mention yes, these are the main standards applicable with their references. For example, ISO 13485, okay, ISO 14971, etc. So these are the standard. Some of the standards may not be available in this particular list. So these standards you can also refer to the some engines, search engines, you may able to find them up. Okay, so these are the basically standards. So first thing is what you have to identify the standards which are partly or which are fully compliant with your project. Okay, then after that you can explore further like how these particular standards that can be applicable. Okay, so which even if you want to do it during the next semester, that's fine. Okay, because as the project are getting into the final shape, you will have an idea about how these standards are going to be directly applicable. Okay, how you can incorporate such standards. So this particular task also require the detailed understanding of the standards, what they cover. So we must refer back to the the complete documents regarding this particular standard. So this is huge process, but at least at this stage you have a clear idea about what is the role of the standards, and why these standards are very important, and what are the applicable standards. Okay, at a very superficial level. But during the next semester you can add more, and you make it very relevant to your topic. Okay, now there are some points which design factors already you have highlighted here, which are like the ergonomics. So ergonomics means what? Basically how a machine can fit to a man actually. Okay, not the other way, correct? Not so we must consider different factors. That factors normally in biomedical fields, we normally consider the dimensions, like the usability, right? The how much load per person can work, its positions, like all these things, which our aim is basically how to fit a machine to the man, considering the dimensions like anthropometric details, like the degree of freedom, etc., etc. So this is the basic idea behind ergonomics. So you can ask about yourself whether what kind of human factors we must consider. That's what ergonomics talking about. Okay, another important point is safety. Safety is very important. So particularly when you are talking about some medical devices, they are directly connected with the human. Okay, so in this case safety is very important. So you must look at the different aspects of the safety in your design. Okay, economic considerations is basically talking about the cost effectiveness of your design. Okay, how much money is involved, okay, the material cost, the overall project budget, etc. So these are related to the economy, how to make it like a economic model. Okay, environmental sustainability, this word is very common, so you know what is basically environmental sustainability. So it has to be sustainable, so look for the options, the sustainability into your project. Okay, now reliability is talking about the product performance, whether product or the system that performs consistently, okay, over extended period of time actually, okay, or maybe like a particular lifespan. So reliability is also one of the important thing. Okay, for example, the battery, the particularly hardware components, and normally having reliability issues, particularly if there is any moving parts, the reliability is really a matter. Okay, usability, how easy to use, aesthetics, which looks like how it look like, the outside style, the design, the colors, etc. Scalability, whether it is possible to change the scale, or from time to time, from person to person. Cultural and social considerations, and these are all very much, it's not very much related to our project, but still if you think that these cultural and social considerations, if you can connect with your project, okay, you can add. Then professional ethics is basically you have to ensure that as a profession, as an engineer profession, what ethics you're supposed to follow, the basic standard, the ethical standards that is to be considered in your project. Okay, that's very common. It is not necessary that we should explain all this in professional ethics, because it's a part of our system, okay, engineering system. Now the last topic is chapter number 4. For this semester will be chapter number 4, which is the methodology. So methodology basically an area which covers how. So far you have already mentioned about what you are going to do, okay, and that is what covered in introduction. And then you mentioned about what others have already done, okay, on this particular topic, and what is missing, and what is the supposed to be the missing part or the lacking part. Okay, then now we are going to address is how you are going to to make it happen actually. Okay, how you are going to or in which way you are going to contribute, or what is your methodology, or what you are going to to solve, or how you are going to solve it. So this is the area basically. So basically the question is how the project will be undertaken. Okay, so methodology, what we are expecting basic idea like a block diagram. Okay, so this block diagram is basically, or maybe a flow diagram. Okay, it can be a flow chart. For example, those who are working on software projects, you can talk about, you can mention, or you can design a flow chart. If those who are working on hardware, you can talk about a block diagram, where you have an input signal, then you have for example like signal processing, signal acquisition, then for example you have a pre-processing, then followed by you have a post-processing, and then you have an analysis, okay, etc. Okay, so this is basically in the case of an hardware kind of project. In the case of software project, you can talk about an algorithm, okay, where the data flow, where is input data, and what are the different stages the data should pass through, etc. Okay, so this is the part 2 here. Okay, so I hope the idea is clear. Okay, again, this methodology, you will not get a complete idea or a full what you call detailed idea at this stage actually. Okay, then definitely you have to as you go in the next semester, the project is getting into better shape, then definitely methodology have to change. So what you are expecting here, either a block diagram or a flow diagram, and you must be able to explain about each flow diagram, what happened, what is the data you have, what is your input data, and what happened to the input data, what are the different phases. Okay, so this will tell you exactly what are the different phases of your project. Okay, from the input until the output, what are the different phases, and these phases or the transformation stages will help us to get a overall idea about different kind of activities that are involved as part of the project, and what are critical, what are non-critical, and there are job which is required like team support, right. There are things that can be individually can be done, okay, etc. Okay, some testing is required, some analysis is required, etc. So this is the basic idea. Again, I'll highlight the importance of this section, methodology. You are going to give us now a superficial idea. not in very detail, but next semester definitely you can deep into or delve into the minute details, and you can give us clear, because next semester anyway you are going to make the whole project ready, right? So at least you can give us a overall picture about the topic. Okay, I hope this short video is useful, and let me know if you need any further help. Okay, thank you.